Good morning, YouTube. This is Mike, the Okie entrepreneur, coming at you post Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving and to spend time with their family and their friends and get some fellowship and have some good food. And now that that's over, it's back to business until Christmas, right? So what have you been thankful for? Well, I'm thankful for every day having the opportunity just to spend time with my wife and my family, my kids and grandkids, and just life in general is something never to take for granted. But on with the news. So FTX bankruptcy, which I was never invested in FTX. I'm seeing numbers of 8 billion loss and recovered 740 million. It's not even 10%. The gentleman who was in charge of it is on the loose internationally, running around. He's a young guy, but I'm not a young guy. But I remember years ago, I told a lot of my friends this story. I had an instructor at a college talking about Twitter, trying to explain to me what Twitter was. And I was like, what? So I've always kind of thought, look to the young people for new industries, new opportunities, and the future. And I probably was a Johnny-come-lately on the crypto, but I did okay with Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that. But it seems now, with lack of regulation, that it's tied to the market, right? Like a lot of things. Silver and gold, for one thing, used to be a hedge for inflation. Well, our inflation is through the roof, and silver and gold are not really moving. So they're not the inflation hedge anymore. Real estate is, I believe. It doesn't mean that, the power of the dollar over the last 30 or 40 years, how much it's lost, right? Gold and silver, they're still hanging in there. It's a good savings account. I buy silver just every so often when I have loose change. Just put it in a box somewhere. And it's always there. It's pretty much indestructible. It's not easy to cash out. And it's just there as a hedge for rainy day. Back to crypto. So let's use Bitcoin as an example. And I saw this in an article this morning, less than a year ago, 69,000 a coin. Now it's today 16,500. Let that sink in. Could you imagine having an asset? I'm sure your 401k is like mine. It's took about a 15% hit. And that's not even including the 8% in inflation. So roughly it's around 25% of buying powers. So we're going to have some good years, right? Good news on the horizon. I hope Republicans have taken the House. Now, this is not a political channel, but I saw some data that said the 19 times that Republicans have controlled the House, that 70% of the time, 70 or 80%, the market does well. So we got 2 years, hopefully, of the market doing well with some policy. Hopefully inflation is starting to level out. I see China again has their zero policy on COVID, is shutting down some factories. I just can imagine being a factory worker over there. So the world needs to find ways to develop a better supply chain. That means, speaking as a country, in-house production. Or somebody who's close to you, or somebody who's not as unstable as China, right? It's a geopolitical enemy. China is. It's our largest competitor. So that's why McDonald's and Burger King, they're not friends. They are competitors. So we're like the McDonald's and the Burger King of the world, the two biggest bullies on the block, and we don't like each other. So we shouldn't be always dependent on their supply of cheap products. So, all right. And now the big topic is, what do you do with your Thanksgiving leftovers? So traditionally it's turkey, ham, and all the fixings, right? Well, turkey is, I'm going to look for a recipe for doing something with what's left of the turkey, because the meat gets kind of dry. It's, as it was, we just cooked the turkey breast this year. What do you guys do? Tell me below, and leave me a comment on what you do with your leftovers. If you don't mind, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Leave me any comments also about what we talked about. Are you in crypto? Do you believe in it? Is it something that you got burnt by? Or something that you think is the future digital currency? Like I said, have a good weekend and go find your next deal.